Good afternoon. My name is Kathy Beatty with Spirited Presentations, and I am here in WKTV studio discussing today the importance of the senior millage that is going to be voted on this August 5th. Joining me is Tom Apple, who is on the steering committee for the senior millage, and also Brewster Ham, who is the president of the Senior Meals on Wheels. Thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome. Thank you.
You bet. And I'd like to begin, if I could, Tom, if you could explain to us what is the senior millage.
Absolutely. The senior millage is a dedicated millage that provides services to seniors. This is the third cycle. It runs for 8 years. So we've had it in place for 16 years now. And this is a millage designed to keep people in their homes as long as possible. And there's a myriad of services that it provides, something like 43 services. But we have talked to the Kent County Board of Commissioners, and they have authorized an increase from 1/3 of a mil to 1/2 a mil. And that is designed to attack the waiting list, because for all of these services, there is a waiting list. And sometimes people are on that waiting list to the point where they become significantly medically compromised. And so we need to get these people into that system as long as possible. And we have run this campaign now, like I say, for 16 years. Last time around, it passed with over 70% of the vote all across Kent County. This is just not Grand Rapids, it's all across Kent County.
Okay. And when was the last millage?
It was 8 years ago.
8 years ago. Okay. And what would be the increase for the typical home?
Typical increase would be at the top end probably about $2 a month or so, somewhere around, right? Most homes around $1.10, $1.20 per month.
Okay.
And so if you factor in the cost of putting individuals in an institutional setting, this is a huge bargain, because it is so much more, I think, relevant to folks to stay in their home as long as possible. If you talk to seniors, I'm guessing you will have probably 90% of them say they want to stay in their home as long as possible. And that's what these services do.
Wow. And can you explain again some of the services that
Sure.
this millage will provide?
Sure. Some of the services would be dental, hearing, vision, home repair services, modification of facilities, respite care, like gerontology network, medication management, all of these sorts of things. Brewster can speak more to the Meals on Wheels program, but there are priority services, and Brewster's program is a priority service. Transportation, getting people to doctor's appointments, getting them to various things they need to do to, again, enhance the quality of their lives.
Good, thank you. Brewster, can you identify why is this millage so critical for Seniors on Wheels?
Absolutely. The Senior Millage Supports is one of the supporters of our organization. And last year, approximately $700,000 came to us, about 20% of our budget for meals. And as Tom mentioned, our primary mission is to help keep seniors healthy and independent in their homes by giving them quality nutrition services. So food is like the last thing. So the majority of our meals go to what we call home delivered meals, which are for homebound seniors throughout every part of Kent County. And last year alone, for instance, 400,000 meals went to those people that were homebound. These are people that can't drive, go to the grocery store, or stand at their counter and make a meal. Okay. So it's a hugely important factor for many of these seniors.
So some of the other services that are provided as well would be legal services for individuals who may need some help in sorting out various legal things. Could be estate issues. The home repair services counsels people on foreclosure issues. That gets to be a problem. There's the Fair Housing Center, which speaks to discrimination against seniors in housing. And that's a pretty significant problem. We've begun to realize that.
Right.
So.
Right. And so for these programs, really to allow seniors to be able to stay in their homes, many of them are dependent upon these services.
Absolutely. We have letters in our files from seniors that have said, "You've saved our life. We were, as a result of having the meals come on a regular basis, we've been able to stay in our homes 7 or 10 or 15 years longer." So it just has a huge impact on those folks.
Which also impacts the entire community if they were to move out of their home, correct? Because
Yes.
they would have to be possibly on assistance or... some other more permanent.
Right. The business case is huge because for a relatively reasonable amount of money for the meals, saves the price of a nursing home that might be $30,000 to $50,000 a year. And we also know that research shows that people are happier in their own homes, and they do better being independent.
Another piece of the in-home puzzle is there comes a time sometimes when people do have to
Yes.
transition into a facility, but hopefully that's temporary because there are also services that help them transition back into their own home. And I think just to piggyback on what Brewster said, most of the people that come into the homes to do services take a look around, and it's been many occasions where they've found individuals on the floor. Had the provider not shown up, then who knows what would have happened.
Right.
Or you might see examples of elder abuse. Maybe they'll look around a little bit and see where the toilet's been leaking for years, and pretty soon it's going to be in the basement until they get home repair services out there to fix it.
Right.
And also ramping and all these kinds of things, widening doors. That's just a huge step in terms of keeping people in their homes.
Right. So how many people do you think are currently served on your programs? You may have stated that already.
About 17,000.
17,000 just in Kent County?
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, and
Yeah.
how about for seniors, Meals on Wheels?
About 5,000 in total during the year.
Wow, and that's also
That's-
throughout the entire county?
Throughout the entire county, all parts of Kent County.
Yeah,
And
the
just
senior-
to piggyback on something that Tom said, this regular checking, we deliver meals Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And every year there are a couple people where their lives are saved because it's the only human contact that many of these seniors have on a weekly basis,
Wow.
just due to the fast-paced society we live in, and,
Yeah,
and families
exactly.
being dispersed. And so it's a critical thing.
Someone needs to be checking on them
Well,
for
the
sure.
Millage also supports places like the Walker Firehouse Cafe, Senior Neighbors, Sparta Senior Center, Lowell Senior Center, just
Okay.
about 4 or 5 of them scattered around the county.
Okay.
And here again is where people congregate. And often we talk here about congregate meals. People eat together, they break bread together. And that's pretty significant in terms of the
Right.
social interaction. If they can't get to the congregate meal site, then the Millage will fund some transportation to get them there. So it's such a broad-based program. And
Just
Is-
to highlight on Tom's comment about congregate meal sites, these are for seniors that are more mobile and can get out and about. And it's for a luncheon visit, so they go for a meal, and there's typically games and exercise programs and things like that that they can do as well, and also learning their classes. So it's a great way for them to be socially active and stay
Great.
mentally active.
Great, and very necessary for
Right.
the seniors to
For
have
sure.
that mental health and that
Absolutely.
stimulation,
That's right.
along with their church or wherever
Right.
it may service them as well. So will this millage actually meet the needs that you had? You had stated, Tom, that there was a waiting list. So how many more would this millage allow us to serve?
that's kind of a fluid list, but we know it's there. The providers tell us it's there. People apply for services. Well, we can't get to you just yet.
Right.
So can you hang in there for 6 months? Well, sometimes yes, sometimes no. But there are in Kent County alone, over 100,000 people over the age of 60. And in 20 years, that's probably going to double. Now, not all of these persons are recipients of services. They can be. No one is turned away. But if you get to a point where you can afford to cost share, then you would be asked to cost share. But no one is going to be turned away.
Okay. That's very interesting. So you don't have to qualify based on income or anything. It's a service area strictly for those in need, whatever
Just
that
have to
need,
be over 60.
need may be. Okay, very good. And how will this benefit? Will this maintain the programs currently, or will this increase, enhance?
It's going to help us increase. For instance, in our program in Kent County last summer, the need has been growing so rapidly, it's been faster than we can fundraise for. So we had to cut about 7,000 meals a month. These were second meals and weekend meals, and we did it very carefully to make sure it wouldn't put someone over the edge. And we worked with families. It took several months to do it. But to be physically responsible, we needed to do those cuts. Well, this need is constantly growing, and it will allow us to put some of those meals back, and also take care of the need that's out there that's growing every year.
Yeah, Brewster's organization has gotten ahead of the curve too with all this bad winter we have. And you can talk more about this than I, obviously, but you have provided freezable meals
Right.
that folks can access if the drivers can't get to the
Right.
to the homes. I mean, that's being ahead of the curve.
Right. Yeah.
We take it very seriously. We actually, on some of the blizzard days that were so bad, we pulled together our drivers and several staff that had four-wheel drives because we have folks rated in their critical needs. And so for a number of them, we sent these four-wheel drive vehicles out to make sure that they would have meals because we knew that they were so close to their not being out.
Yeah. And if we weren't providing that services, what would these people do?
That's a very good question. I think a number of them would go hungry. There's a significant hunger and nutrition issue, even in Kent County. Research shows that 1 in 6, or about 17%, of people really struggle with hunger and nutrition. So that's another reason why the millage is so critical.
Is that seniors?
For
That
seniors,
1 in
yes.
6? Okay.
Let me put in a plug here for a second for the providers. These are individuals out there doing this work because they have a passion for the work. They're not in there to get rich. They're there to provide a service. And the senior millage helps them provide the service, but that's not the only thing. They're all out there trying to raise money. You know, they're all trying to get to that finite source of money.
Right.
So they're all, in a sense, competing for one another with the funding.
Does this millage just benefit seniors, or are there other folks?
No, have to be over 60.
Okay.
Yep.
And tell us, August 5th is the date where this will be decided and determined. And we had the librarian here earlier, and he said that library millage is on the last question. Where might we find this millage question on the ballot? Probably the second?
That's good because I got my absentee ballot and I don't remember where it came in the process. But we're not really competing with the library millage. It's a companion millage.
Correct.
So.
Correct. Yes. I just wanted to help people know exactly where it's at. So I know our voter turnout isn't all that well for primary. So what can you state to our folks to encourage them to get out there and vote this year?
I would say get to the polls. If you have an absentee ballot, fill it out. Don't delay. Get it in. If you need transportation to the polls, figure out a way to get there. So it's just so important. And we know, we know as seniors, Brewster and I, we know that we vote. And this is one of the things that's been very helpful to us. When we talk to politicians get it. We have not had one politician who has vetoed any kind of involvement with the millage. They're all in.
Right.
All of them are all in all the time.
Right.
Because one of the things that we have done as a group called the Advocates for Senior Issues, that we've talked to politicians and we've personalized it. Now you have elderly parents, right? Or they're about to be elderly. Well, yeah, they get that part. So it's a service for their parents as well.
Yes.
And then younger people, when I talk to younger people, I say, you may not think this impacts you, but frankly, you're a senior in training. And you will be there.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you're fortunate enough to be there.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Absolutely. Any other comments that you'd like to make clear to educate people on this millage?
I would just say that it's a simple, straightforward millage. It's not a complex proposal of any kind. So just vote yes.
Right. I would echo Tom's words on that. It's critical that it go through so that we can maintain the services that have been going out there and to increase the need that is not being met currently. So it's a really great bang for the buck.
Absolutely. And you stated it equates to about $2 a month.
At the top
Is
end.
that correct? Yeah,
Right.
at the top end.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That's,
See, last time around, the millage was about $6 million, which is down $1 million because of declining property values. Now, as property values begin to creep upward, then we might see a little bit more passage. But that's the reason why we're asking for the increase, is to, again, to go after the waiting list.
yes.
We'll not eliminate it, but we'll go after it. We'll make a dent in it.
Okay. And what a simple way that we can support our seniors who have contributed into our communities, and absolutely. Well, thank you very much. Did you have another
No, thank
Anything
you so
final?
much for having us. It's been a real pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. Thank you for the information.
Yeah, you're
We
welcome.
we need to have that information out there. And I hope you would be encouraged to vote on August 5th. Look for the millage, the senior millage, and if you believe it's valuable, that you would vote yes.